Hi, Tracy. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
How have things been going since I saw you last?
They've been pretty good. I mean, I've had a few meetings with my guardian, but I feel like it's just the same old, same old. I mean, I just feel
Okay.
like I'm not getting anywhere, but I
Okay.
don't know.
All right. Well, last time we spent some time getting to know each other. I asked you all of those questions, and this week I want to get a little bit more focused on what your goals are and actually set a few goals that we can start working on.
Okay.
I was reviewing my notes about things we talked about last week about what your goals would be. And so I kind of want to go over those with you real briefly, and then you can tell me if that's still what you're thinking or not, okay? Um, I know two things that you had mentioned to me that you were really interested in is you wanted to be your own guardian.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to have a guardian anymore, but that you were having some confusion about what her expectations were for you in order to achieve that goal. Does that
Right.
sound fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the other goal that kind of goes along with that is being more financially independent and doing things on your own so that
Yes.
you will trust that you can be your own guardian.
Right.
So it's kind of the same goal, but a little bit different. Does
Yeah.
that sound
I do feel like budgeting is a big part of it too, because that's what she's always, it seems like she's always on me for that. So I know
okay?
that is a big part of getting my guardianship back is for me to be able to be financially independent. So yeah, that is,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right. Um, is there anything other than that we discussed last week that you wanted to work on as a goal as well, or is that something you feel comfortable starting with?
I think that's good to start with. Yep.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do today is really discuss some things that I can do to help you and things that you can do in order to meet that goal.
Okay.
So really kind of just get down to I'm going to do this and you're going to do that and set some um, timelines to help move us forward and really know exactly what our roles are going to be in working together.
Okay. That makes
Okay.
sense.
Do you have any questions about that or anything I need to know about how things have been going before we get started?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So what do you think, and I'm going to take notes as we go because so
Okay.
that I can remember and I'm getting it all right. Um, Tell me what you think your biggest barrier right now is to meeting the goal of removing the guardianship.
I think my biggest thing right now is the money issue because I don't know. I just feel like I keep spending money and I'm to the point where she gives me money every 2 weeks, but it seems like I can never get my money to last the 2 weeks and I'm having to, borrow from my aunt and then I feel like I have to pay her back, have to borrow from friends. So I feel like money is my biggest issue at this point. And then once I get that back on track, then she'll be more apt to give me my guardianship back. But I think money is my biggest struggle right now.
Okay. Well, the great thing about that goal is that's something that is very measurable. So we will know when you're doing well with that. So that,
Right.
that helps. So have you ever had any assistants or anyone set up a budget with you before?
No, I
Okay.
haven't.
Okay. Okay. So have you put any thought into how long you would like to work on this goal in a perfect world or in a world that I guess when you look towards the future, how soon would you like to be able to budget your own money and then be on your own for the guardianship?
I'd say realistically, I think it's going to take a little bit to get off the guardianship. I think like maybe six months down the road, I would like to be able to manage my money by then, and then have that conversation with her about maybe getting off guardianship. So I think
Okay.
within 6 months, I would like to be independently financially stable.
Okay. So I like that you understand that some of those things are going to take a while.
Hmm.
So that maybe the getting the guardianship revoked is even going to take maybe a longer,
Yeah.
like maybe a year or so. But I like that you had the idea that let's work on one goal that will get us towards that goal in a shorter amount of time. So I like the idea of working on the budgeting over the next 6 months.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
So in 6 months, that would be June of 2018.
Okay.
You would like to be successful with a budget and managing your own money by then.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What are some things specifically to that goal of money management and budgeting do you think that you need the most help with? What would you say would be a good first step for you?
I need to take a look at where I'm spending my money at now, because I feel like I just go through it so quick that I don't even know where it goes. So I think like maybe at this point, recognizing what I am spending my money on, because I do smoke, so I know that takes a lot of my money, but I don't know exactly how much. And so I think a first step for me is to look at what I'm spending my money on now and how I can change that.
Okay. So I'm wondering, there's a few different ways that we can do that. And I'm able to help you come up with a spreadsheet or a document or something that you even just mark every time you spend something. You write it down in a certain category, like clothing or food or cigarettes or whatever it is you spend your money on. Do you think that's something that you would feel comfortable coming up with on your own, or would you like for me to do some research into certain forms that you can use in order to document where your money is going?
I would probably need a little bit of help with that.
Okay.
Right now, I do keep my receipts, so that helps a little bit, and I can always bring those whenever we meet and everything. But yeah, I do think I'll need help a little bit with that.
Okay. And how soon do you think that you would be able to gather up those receipts in order for us to go over them?
I could probably bring them in like at our next meeting.
Okay.
Next week.
So I'm going to give both of us an assignment. So I'm going to have you gather up all of your receipts so that you have them and bring them with you next time.
Okay.
And then I am going to come up with some different types of documents that you can use in order to write down the amount of money you're spending in each different category.
Okay.
And I'll come up with some different kinds, and you will review them, and you can decide which form you like the best and would be easiest for you to use.
Okay.
Okay. So our first goal, or our first intervention for the goal, is I am going to come up with, let's say, 3 different types of documentation.
Okay.
And then you are going to find and organize your receipts and bring them with you next time.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then during our next session, we will take your receipts and decide which form you want to use, and then we'll start putting those receipts into the form so we can keep track.
Okay.
So we're going to have that job done next week. That? Okay? Okay. Okay. So once you know where your money is going and you have identified that, what do you think is a next good step that you would like to work on?
I'd like to work on maybe adjusting, so like making a budget of what I should be spending money on, kind of seeing where I am spending it, and then maybe making an adjustment and making like an actual budget for me to follow, so that I don't go over specific categories like for food or whatnot, eating out and stuff like that. So maybe coming up with like a budget that I have to stick to so that I have something to go off of. Because right now I don't really have anything to go off
of. So I want to make sure that I understand what you're saying and that I'm doing it, that I'm understanding and doing what you want. So once we have identified where the money is going, what I hear is that you would like to identify a dollar amount for each category of how much you should be spending in each area, so you know when you're overspending.
Right.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that something that you feel comfortable identifying where you need to be spending the money?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I mean, we can still do it together, but
yeah, I'll definitely need help with the budget part, because
yeah.
I think I can identify like I'm overspending in this area, but I might need help with realistically with my money, what I should be spending. So I'll definitely need help with it.
Okay. So understanding what is a reasonable goal for a dollar amount in each area.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. You're aware of how much income you have going in, so are you aware of how much money that you have to work with every month?
Yes.
And when that comes in?
Yes.
Okay. So that's really important too, when you sit down to work out your bills, corresponding when you pay your bills and when you buy groceries based on when your paycheck comes in. So,
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have our second step as adjust the budget to a certain amount for each category every month. So we can do that. When do you think how much time do you think you need after our initial goal to work on the budgeting of the new budget?
So I'd say like at least within a month, I'd like to have a solid budget that I can start going off of, I think. So I would say by a month. Yeah.
Okay. And that will be good too, because if we continue to meet weekly, then every week you can bring me your receipts and we can continue to fill out the budget worksheet. And within a month's time, we should have a good idea of where your money is going.
Right. That'll give us time to see. Okay.
Yeah. So I will say within 1 month, we will create a new budget with specific dollar amounts in each category.
Okay.
Where you should spend money. And we can determine what those categories are, for like utilities, food, those types of things. We'll come up with categories for each of that budget too. Okay? Okay. So I'd like to come up with one more goal to get us to the 6-month mark, because I think the first 2 goals are going to be great, and we can continue to build on those same goals for the first 6 months.
Okay.
And by then you'll have a really good idea. By then you'll have 6 months of your own budgeting under your belt. And when you go to talk to your guardian about, being able to do that on your own, we'll have 6 months worth of documentation to prove that you're able to do it.
Right.
So, how do you feel about having that conversation with the guardian? Do you feel comfortable having that? Do you need assistance with that communication?
I do get uncomfortable and nervous talking to her, just because, I feel like she runs my whole life, and it's just hard to get anything. It's hard to get her to change anything. So I think maybe like if you were to go with me or something like that, just to where I could have, like, we could bring all the 6 months of documentation in, and just to have somebody else there to kind of, verify that we've been working on it. I think that would help a lot, and that would kind of give me, the emotional support, because I do get really nervous and anxious to see her. Yeah.
What also, I'm more than happy to go with you and help you present that information, but what also, if we went a step further, and we kind of worked on some ways for you to feel more comfortable expressing your needs and your wants with her.
Okay.
Like we could maybe do some role playing or some practicing before we went, help pick which words would work, would be helpful, and those types of things. Do you think that would be helpful to do that?
I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put our third step in this intervention as I will attend that meeting with you, but we're also going to work on you being more self-confident and having the language in order to express your own needs.
Okay.
And then it will just be more of a support.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. So, how soon, so if we're going to meet with her in 6 months, how soon would you like to start the role playing process? How much before that? 4 months, 5 months?
I'd say like 4 months, because I do want to have, that adequate time in between to practice and everything. So I think at least 4 months in advance would be good.
So within 4 months, we're going to say we're going to role play. You're going to role play with me. Ways to help you communicate with your guardian.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I want to go over real briefly what we have so far and see if there's anything. I think we've got a really good start with what we want to do in the first 6 months, but I want to go over it with you just to kind of refresh what I'm going to do and what you're going to do, and then make sure this is really the direction you were thinking you wanted to go. Okay. So what I have is that by June 2018, which is 6 months from now, you will be able to successfully budget and manage your own money. And then the result of that, it would be that we would meet with your guardian to show her that you were able to do that, with the goal of down the road, the guardianship be revoked within let's say 1 year.
Okay.
But the main goal for the first 6 months will be that you'll be able to manage your own money and budget your own money, and then be able to communicate that with your guardian.
Okay.
Okay. So then the 3 steps we're going to take to get to that goal in the 6 months is, by next week, I am going to come up with some different forms or documents that you can use in order to document your monthly expenses and income. And you are going to organize all your receipts and bring them back to the next meeting with me next week.
Okay.
Okay. And then after that, within 1 month, we are going to actually create a budget that is divided into categories and apply a dollar amount to each of those categories so that you know how much you can spend each month in each area.
Okay.
And that will be within 1 month from today. Okay?
Sounds good.
And we will continue to do that every week.
Okay.
And then on month 4, we will begin role playing and practicing ways that you can communicate your ability to budget with your guardian.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
That's kind of it in a nutshell. Is that what you were thinking? Is there something else that you want to work on instead?
I think that'll be good. I think that really showing her that I'm working on it will help a lot with me getting the guardianship back. So I'm excited to work on this.
Good. I'm glad. So that we're going to have our work cut out for us. I think that's a reasonable goal, but we're also still going to be busy and have a lot to do. And then when we hit week or month 6, we'll come up with a new goal to work on.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you need from me before I let you go today? Otherwise, I'll plan on working on your receipts next week.
Okay. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. We'll bring your receipts and we'll get to work next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. See ya.
See ya.